Hi, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 16th, 2022 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, I just once again want to thank each and every one of you for all your healing energy, for all your well wishes as I've been healing from this concussion. It's been so beautiful to just have this outpour. You guys are amazing. This is the best community ever. So I love you all so very much. Thank you so much. Now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Sagittarius be affected by the February 16th, 2022 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Just making sure that's not close to the flame. There we go. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So I've changed up the presentation. Let me know what you think of it. In the front here is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The back is our emotional self. And the right-hand side is the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Scorpio, that's going to come through very powerfully at the root of us, or if we have Scorpio within our natal chart. And then we have the Magician. I love that. We are transformed. We are having here a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new. Very much a sense of this full moon is illuminating so much more for me than what I thought it was going to be, than what I realized I needed. Then it brings us to our inner self, and we have the Nine of Cups, a wish coming true, a sense of fulfillment, of prosperity. And we have the High Priestess, which is beautiful. We have the High Priestess and the Magician here. So this is really going to be a magical time for us. The High Priestess is the veil being lifted, things being seen more inwardly. The Magician claims it, stands before the altar of their existence, says, this is who I am, this is what I claim, this is what I desire. The High Priestess, it's much more introspective. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles in our emotional self, which is beautiful, prosperity and success. The 7 of Pentacles also telling us to be patient for the bounty that is still coming. We then have the 7 of Swords. There is a sense here, right? Dishonesty, what does it say? Theft, dishonesty, theft, dishonesty. What has been stolen from me? What is it that I needed that doesn't seem to be here at this time? Or where am I coming from a place of mistrust? And why am I coming from this place of mistrust? That's going to be very important for us to understand during this time, because we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is Taurus energy. So if we have Taurus within our natal chart, that comes through very powerfully here in the public arena. But it's also the rules. It's also institutions. It's also kind of the way that we culturally or socially structure ourselves around the way that we move forward and what's appropriate and what isn't appropriate. But we also need to look at what is traditionally appropriate for us as an individual. And we're not talking here about dogma, though we could very well, if that's something we find comfort in. What we're talking about is this sense of, how do I claim what, if I release this, it takes away an intrinsic part of who I am and almost how I define myself. So that's going to be really important. How are we defining ourselves, in helpful ways or in hurtful ways? So that's going to be something that we need to look at here during this time. Let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, this one right here. This is the Queen of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So just as we have the blessing of a Scorpio here at our root, there's also going to be the sense of emotional manipulation during this time. How is it that our emotions are being used against us? How is it that somebody is looking at what they want and what they need and what they desire, and knowing exactly, the buttons to push to get what they want, or to move forward in the way that they want to in their life. So just really being aware of that. It's going to be very helpful for us. I just see it as they're poisoning the waters. It could be even they're just doing something it almost seems benign, but they're poisoning things against one another. They're letting down, or they're laying little seeds for us to have this kind of reaction to. And they know it. They absolutely know it. So this could be at work, this could be at home. Just be aware of it. Just be aware. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So our chakra energy is life purpose. This is the throat chakra. And Sagittarius, we have such a strong life purpose. We are ruled by Jupiter, right? Jupiter is the Roman name for Zeus. And so there is such success, such bounty, such, prosperity to us if we know why we're here. And I know that sounds like, okay, well, Dane, that makes perfect sense. But so often we think it has to be for a big reason. It has to be something extraordinary. And yet it could be something terribly ordinary, but absolutely beautiful, absolutely impactful. And we have to not poo-poo that. We tend to say, oh, if it's not making me millions, then it doesn't matter. No, it can be being the grocer, the butcher, the hardware provider of a town. Those things are important. It can also be being a parent. It can be being a partner. It can be, rescuing animals. Like whatever it is that we feel at peace in our hearts when we are doing it. And maybe not all the time, sometimes our buttons are pushed and we're stressed out and, things have to be done. Yes, of course. But here we're looking at our throat, in our throat chakra, what we say, how we are connecting with why we're here on this earth, and how we are adding to it, and also how we are subtracting from it. And that's going to be important. It's like, what am I here for? What do I want? What do I love? What do I desire? What is important to me? And that is a very powerful thing. So let's talk about this moon. This is the full moon in Leo. It says, don't let pride get in the way. And that's so important. Here, during this time, it can be so easy to let the ego take over, to let pride take over, for this to be a time for the spotlight to be me type of thing. And the full moon always has us looking at our family, our home, our relationships. It's the moon opposite the sun. So here, with the Leo energy, Leo is ruled by the sun. So that energy of the sun, of the spotlight, comes out even more. This is a time where we're focusing on and being shown opposite forces within our lives, our wants and our needs, our loves and our dislikes, work and home. That's going to come forward. And it's like, where are things out of balance? And why are things out of balance? This is a time where we are seeking balance, and we need to listen to the inner voice and to our spiritual guidance that is helping us move forward, that is helping us to become centered within ourselves. This is a very positive and very promising moon. It is the first full moon of 2022 that is not during a Mercury retrograde, which you can say, Dane, this is the second full moon. Don't get too excited. But we have, 4 Mercury retrogrades during this year, 8 shadow periods during this time. So there are a lot of times where we could be in a Mercury retrograde. Also, all the planets are going direct during this time, which just brings a level of ease, which is really quite beautiful. Mars is conjunct Venus and Vespa, and both Venus and Vespa are in Capricorn. This brings a go-getting, get things done type of attitude. Let me see what I need. Let me see how I succeed type of attitude coming to the table. In Sagittarius, we thrive on that energy. We also have to remember that Mars and Venus in mythology were lovers, right? Ares and Aphrodite were lovers in Greek mythology. Those are just Mars and Venus are just the Roman names. And so here we have this sense of how is the practical world and the emotional world intertwining, coming together, focusing on what we love. This alignment is in harmony with Uranus and with Neptune. Now, Uranus rules Aquarius, Neptune rules Pluto. This means that this energy is all centered around what we want and what we need in order to move forward and towards our dreams within our life. That's why life purpose comes up so strongly for us. It's like, okay, why am I here? What do I desire? What am I putting on the table to get me moving forward, to get me started on what's intrinsically important to me? Neptune rules visual communication, so we can be very drawn to the arts during this time. Also, movies, any sort of communication that brings up imagery within our mind and within ourselves. So we can even find ourselves kind of moving towards, fiction books or, anything that brings up imagery during this time. It is as well as it represents our dreams and what we hope to be able to become. So again, life purpose coming forward. And we have to remember that Neptune is known as the Lord of the unseen world. And as the Lord of the unseen world comes forward, we're taking that unseen world and we're wanting to make it a reality for us. We're wanting to move it forward in some sort of glorious connection. Now, Uranus is much more practical. It is introverted. It is, innovative. It is unpredictable. It is imaginative. It is creative. It is idealistic. This is the energy of the creative and scientific genius. This is the energy of looking outside of the box and getting things done. It's important to know that the lunar nodes, so both the south and the north lunar node, are activated during a full moon. And so they're activated by a full moon. And with the north and south lunar nodes, with the lunar nodes themselves, they are known as the nodes of fate. It is said that our destiny is echoed between the north and south lunar node, which I think is just a beautiful imagery. The south lunar node represents our past. So it's not only the past of, this life, it can be past lives. If we believe in past lives, it is our story, it is our history. That's what we're taking forward. That's what we're connecting with during this time. The north lunar node is the present and what we need to accomplish in our lives. So the north and south lunar node are also known as the head and the tail of the dragon, which I, again, just love that imagery. It's so whimsical. But the head of the dragon is what we see now and what we know. The tail is what balances. So the past balances us. The head guides us. And so that is a beautiful way to look at things. Jupiter is in Pisces. Now, we are ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter feels at home in Pisces. Jupiter represents success. It brings optimism. It brings enthusiasm. But it also brings the sense of, spiritual, connection, looking at what we really need to be able to move ourselves forward in the most promising, accomplished way. Now, this is also a time where what we feel like we could never accomplish, we start to say, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. A hopelessness starts to lift. And the power of the full moon lasts for the 2 weeks until the new moon on the 2nd of March. And that new moon is in Pisces. So let's look at what the tarot is saying here. We have the death card. We have the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. People get upset when they see the death card. It's like, oh my gosh, that's ominous. But we are always transforming. Every 7 years, they say, our skin is shed and we're kind of a new person. So here, it's also knowing that we are always transforming. We are always becoming, just like the faces of the moon. What people see is not always going to be the same. There are always going to be subtle differences to us. And so when the death card comes into play, it's like, how am I transforming? How am I becoming what I need to be? How am I mourning this transformation? So some of our transformations are exciting. We could get married, we could have children, we could do all these things, and it's exciting in the moment. And then it's like, okay, now I have to figure out how to live with this person. Now I have to figure out, how to be a parent. Even, adopting a dog. I can be so excited about doing this. Now I have to figure out how to care for this animal, or moving to a new place. Now I have to figure out, how I'm making friends, how I'm connecting, and all that, how I'm working everything out. And so everything that we do, even when it's a high, there's a a fall down from the high. There's a coming down where the practical implications really start to come forward. And that's what the death card is all about. It's about transformation. It's about the highs and also the lows of life. It is about everything in between and how we handle that and how that knowledge guides us, shapes us, helps us to move forward in who we are and who we are becoming. And it leads us to the magician. It leads us to a place where we stand before the altar of our existence and say, this is what I want. This is what I need. This is where I'm headed. This is what I'm not, going to be putting up with. It's much more authoritative. We have the high priestess come in. And the high priestess, yes, we have the Hierophant, and there's a link here because in early tarots, the high priestess was also known as the female pope. So whether we believe in Pope Joan or not, that's irrelevant. What is here is that it's showing us an earthly power for a knowledge that is coming forward. We can also look at the high priestess as the Oracle of Delphi, which is how I really like to look at it. And it's this sense of a mystery coming forward. It's sense of, people from all over the ancient world went to her to hear their future, and it was told in a riddle. And that's what life is. As we stand before the altar of our existence, the magician is the one who claims. I always think of the magician kind of like the druid, kind of like this power that claims what it is that we love, what it is that we want. And here, it's that sense of, I'm bringing the magic back into my life. I'm bringing that spark, I'm bringing that beauty back into my existence. And as I embrace me, as I see me, as I honor me, I get to move forward in this beauty, in this power, in the picking up of my tools, in the picking up of my voice, of what I love and what I want and how I express that, in the sense of my emotions, how I am expressing what I feel and how I am taking in the emotions not only of myself but of the world around me. Am I letting it poison me? Am I not? And that can also be something that we very much have to be mindful of during this time. Is certain energy or are certain energies poisoning us, hurting us, bringing us down? What are we even consuming in our bodies that might not be making us feel the best? So, or giving us a high and then giving us a low that isn't worth it. So here it's looking at, how we are connected with the earth, how we are planting our seeds of what we want and what we're developing and how we're becoming, and also looking at our passion, looking at our brilliance, letting ourselves shine. And it moves us to the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is a tendency, with the Nine of Cups in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's a man kind of sitting like a fat cat with his, arms folded before him with the cups behind him. And so it can be, I have this prosperity, I'm not sharing it, it is mine alone. But there's also a wishful kind of air to the Nine of Cups. I have this prosperity to be able to sustain me. I have this beauty to be able to move forward with. It depends on the day, the mood, how we see that card at that time, how we see that expression at that time. And so here we're looking at, am I hoarding away gifts? Am I letting myself shine forward? Am I embracing what I need and what I want and who I am? Am I looking at what is important for my heart and my soul and what I desire? Because it brings us to the High Priestess, who's having the veil lifted from our eyes and who is showing us, what we truly need, what we truly want, what we're needing, or what we're being drawn to during this time. And so the High Priestess comes in and it's like, look, see, discover, become. And it's embracing a way forward that is really quite spectacular for us, really quite amazing. The High Priestess speaks to us in riddles and rhymes, as she always does. We start to see things more clearly and more openly, but we can also be a little bit affronted by what we are seeing. We could have this idea of what this person is, or who this person is, or even how we're supposed to be, and then that gets shattered by one thing or another. And so here, it's looking at things with an openness and an honesty. It's looking inward and finding so many more answers than we do with looking outward. And it leads us. And it's not saying, okay, so Spirit wants to make it clear. It's not saying that all our answers are just within ourselves, and if only we listened more clearly, we would know everything. I mean, that could be a true form of enlightenment. You can say that's what Christ had, that's what Buddha had, that's what Muhammad had. You could say all these things if you wanted to. But what we're looking at here is maybe not becoming a prophet, right? But trying to live the very best that we possibly can. And as we're doing so during this time and during this moon, and as the spotlight is on us, and as we're looking at things with this fire and this intensity, it's like, okay, what is right? We have the lion head right there on top with the High Priestess. It's like, what is right for me and what isn't? What is empowering for me and what isn't? What guides me and what is leading me off my path? And even just quieting down and listening. Ever since I hurt my head, I've been doing this meditation. Now, I'm probably going to absolutely butcher the name, but I believe it's called Mahasati. So I do apologize. I probably absolutely have ruined that. But it's spelled Mahasati. It's a hand movement meditation. It's all about being present. You keep your eyes open and you are very much in your space, but you are very connected with your body. And I just feel that energy with the high priestess here. It's like being connected with your body, being connected with the now, seeing from the present and seeing from the movement of our everyday life, how I can be in the moment, how I can tune in to myself. It brings us to the 10 of Pentacles: prosperity, success, abundance, wealth, a sharing with our community, but also a sharing with ourselves. There's a sense of I have, and so I'm going to bring it forward. And it doesn't mean that we have to give away all our money or anything like that, but it means moving forward, kind of with a joyous heart, with a prosperous center, a sense of I'm building up the beauty and the prosperity of my world and of myself. So it doesn't mean that we have to share money, though, that's always good. But here she's sharing an apple. She's sharing wisdom. She is sharing nourishment. And it brings us to being patient. So we're coming to a conclusion. The 10 of Pentacles is also a conclusion within our finances, within money. There can be a realization that's coming true within our hearts. And it brings us to the 7 of Pentacles. The 7 of Pentacles: patience. Patience for what is becoming, patience for what we are discovering, patience for what we are re-examining within our lives, how we are moving forward, but also how the seeds that we are planted are bringing our prosperity. We have to have patience as it unfolds around us. It leads us to the 7 of Swords, which is that theft, which is that dishonesty. And we're looking at it. It's like, where do I call out the theft and dishonesty within my life? Is it from a person? Is it from emotions? Is it from, the past? Is it, looking at the present and saying, I can't have that because of XYZ? Looking at this energy and saying, I'm not carrying this around anymore. I can carry around the hurts and the pains and the way I was done wrong my whole entire life. And that will weigh us down. And it's saying, I'm done with that. There really is the sense of I'm in the present moment. This is ritual, ceremony, tradition, structure, knowledge, wisdom, and teacher that comes in with the Hierophant. And we are embracing that sense of, yes, I've been betrayed, but I hold the keys to so much more than what I have realized, to so much more than what I thought I could have. And we start to transform our lives that way. We can go from being truly feeling down and out to listening to the guidance and advice that's offered within our world. There's so much knowledge before us that it can be transformative. It really can be. And it can be absolutely just brilliant for us. And listening to it, the connecting with it, the unlocking the doors, watching things on YouTube, looking at classes online, whatever it is that we are drawn to, reading the knowledge that helps us to understand. It's reading the Stoics, of ancient Greece, reading the philosophy of people throughout the ages. It's looking at things and it's seeing things in a new light. And it's like, oh, but I can move forward like this. Or, oh, I can have that. Or, oh, I can, embrace more of what I've wanted or what I've needed within my life. It's not only the Stoics of Greece, but also the Stoics of Rome. So here, it's very much a sense of, oh, it's like, it's an opening. It's an opening, and we might say, oh, that's hard work, or, oh, I don't want to do that. But it's opening the way that is right for you. I'm always immensely curious, And as a Sagittarius, we are immensely curious human beings. But we can be curious about dance. We can be curious about art. We can be curious about science, and letting that knowledge come in and seeing what it creates within us and for us. And it brings us to this place of like, oh, I've been transformed and I have more power than I ever realized. Like, this can be a magical time for us. Now let us see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So at the front here, at our root, we have Scorpio energy, and we have the Scorpio right here with the death card. So that comes through very, very powerfully. If we're born again on the cusp with Scorpio, we have Scorpio within our chart, or just knowing that the energy of Scorpio is very powerful around us. It's a little bit secretive, right? It's not going to show its cards right away. It's going to be more introspective, more discovery, more connection. And here it says work through your fears. And that's going to be something that's really important to us. Working through our fears, working through our doubts, working through the things that have been holding us back and that we are now being able to release. It moves us then to will. Will we? Will we work through our fears? Will we see what we need to see? Will we, call ourselves out when we need to? Will we stand before the altar of our existence, being powerful, being strong, being capable? It brings us to our lunar inner self. And it says communication is key with the new moon in Gemini. And as communication is key, acceptance of what we're hearing from that communication, acceptance from what is guiding us forward. The communication can also be with our angels, with our spirit guides, with ourselves. We have the repeat of the new moon. So this is going to be a time very much of inner introspection, a time of, contemplation, guidance, a time of quiet is going to be very important during this full moon for us. It moves us to a time for healing. Oh goodness, that's the wrong card. Faith. Faith that as we are healing, we are growing, we are connecting, we are discovering. Faith that there is something more that is being nourished and moved forward within us. And so as we come forward with that energy, it enters us into our lunar public arena self. And here we have our full moon in Sagittarius. We end with ourselves bold and bright, taking aim. It says, look at the bigger picture and release. Release what isn't needed. Release the energies that have been holding us back, which sounds so easy to do and is so much more complex than, what it sounds like. It's like just release the past. And yet that's what makes us, right? That's what makes up our present. That's what helps define us. That's our story. That's who we are. Here, as we're looking at the bigger picture, as we're looking at and opening up the doors for ourselves, we are releasing so much negativity, so much hurt, so much pain, so much disappointment that we can actually start to see ourselves moving forward. Whereas before, it might have felt like, yes, I'm going to move forward, but I'm struggling through quicksand right now. It moves us to our subconscious lunar energy, which you have the full moon eclipse. Conclusions are within reach, and then realization. The realization that we hold the key, that there is so much more to us, that we are what is needed to unlock our desires, our truth, our passion, who we are, what we want. It moves us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and that is the star. The star is Aquarius energy, but this is also our dreams, our wishes. This is, kind of having what we desire, kind of being dangled right in front of us and thinking, oh, okay, this is how I'm supposed to be doing things, or this is what I want. And if I do X, Y, Z, I'll get to where I need to be. Yes, sometimes that is the case. But sometimes when we're looking at our dreams and we're looking at how other people accomplish what we want, we also have to understand that we are unique individuals, and following somebody else's path is good. It's a good roadmap, but we also need to veer and have twists and turns where we need it for ourselves. And so when our dreams are coming forward, it's not letting our dreams be manipulated by others, even if those others are super successful. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that is grounding. This is the Earth Star chakra, located 6 inches below our feet. There's a rooting to us. There's a sense of, am I feeding myself correctly? Am I connecting with my earth and with myself and with my, desire? Am I showing up for me as I move forward? Oh, goodness. In what I want, in who I am. And so that's going to be a very big part of this time. How am I nourishing the way that I'm grounded within this world? And is the soil correct for me? It's kind of like being an ant in Tolkien, right? You get up and you move. If the soil isn't right, if we aren't being fed, if the energy that we're needing isn't showing up, it's kind of like a cactus being planted in a forest. It's not going to work for the cactus, even though you would think, oh, that's perfect. No, it's not going to be perfect for that cacti. for that cactus. It moves us to our subconscious rooted self, and this is the Hermit. This is Virgo energy. This is turning inward. This is our dreams illuminating us. This is looking at things in such a new way, in such a powerful way for us to be able to see what we want, see what we desire, look at what we need. It brings us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is all about claiming our passion. It is us showing up as a knight, as a defender, as an active part of what we are desiring within our world and for us. So we show up inwardly. We are protecting, we are securing, we are moving forward in what we need and in what we desire. It brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And it's the Three of Cups. Emotionally, we have been through hard times. The Three of Cups for me is not only the people who show up and celebrate us, but it is the people who were supposed to show up, who were supposed to celebrate us, who let us down, who hurt us, who left us with scars. And how so much of our life, as we're moving forward, is spent trying to heal from those scars or chasing people who have the same characteristics of the people who we wanted to like us, to love us, to show up for us, whether these be parents or lovers or siblings or, even children, it doesn't matter. It's like, I was let down. I don't have that connection. And here it is starting to heal. And it's saying, okay, who has showed up for me? Even if it's just right now, even if all we can say, it's my angels and it's my spirit guides, and it's connecting with that spiritual, support quite beautifully and seeing how that can grow for us. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And it's the Nine of Swords. It's anxiety, worry. And it can be around how we were betrayed. It can be around everything that we want and need and are looking towards. There's just a sense of being too much in our own heads, overthinking, overanalyzing, worry. It can be that work is stressing us out, home is stressing us out. We need to be able to find peace or connect with peace, whether that's going for walks in nature, whether that's, watching something that makes us just fall over in laughter. Doing something that helps to lift the anxiety is going to be very important, especially during this time. And this anxiety is subconscious, so we're not going to necessarily be aware of it, but we can feel our energy level dropping. We can feel that we're not connecting with things in the way that we really wanted to, or we really feel like we need to. So just being aware of that is going to be so important. All right, Sagittarius. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we discover that there's so much to us, there's so much more to us, there's so much more to this time than we have realized. That we stand in pride, but not in ego, for the person that we have become, for the knowledge that we have learned, and for the way that we are embracing not only the wealth and prosperity that we seek financially, but also emotionally within our lives. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius, and may you have a blessed moon.